Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. If anyone else joins, I'll let them in throughout the conversation. But first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you here. This is really the first time that we've done something like this, a real collaborative between district leaders. So we'll go over a slideshow that we have prepared for you. We will have a lot of time for Q&A, which I think it's going to be the most valuable here for you, since you do have another district leader, Christina, who will be sharing some of her experiences with you later. So this is our virtual collaborative. Thank you so much for being the first people to join it. Hopefully we'll be able to replicate this kind of webinar series with other district leaders. Like I mentioned earlier, we will have this recorded and shared out to other individuals. So the point of this collaborative really is to be able to hear what is it that district leaders want, what is it that you're getting stuck in maybe, or how can we support each other so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you're trying to either get people to buy in on the message as to why it is important for you to participate and speak up, and really promotional materials as well. We know it could get very, very hectic to, draft up a newsletter or flyers, etc. So we really want district leaders, school leaders to be able to share this with each other. So a couple of today's agenda points will be to give you an overview of what Project Tomorrow and Speak Up is. I am not sure if all of you are already registered participating, but just in case there's a couple of people that need to kind of a quick refresher of what we do here at Project Tomorrow, we'll go over that. Collaborative goals, which I kind of mentioned briefly right now. We do have a guest presenter, which is Christina from the Anaheim Elementary School District. She will be going over her best practices to get the district involved in participating, and really how she's leveraged the data for real results. So we know that is a big message that you really have to take from the front end of what are we going to do with this data and why is it so important to collect this data. At the end, we'll review other speaker resources and tools. And then, like I said, our Q&A, we are trying to put as much attention into the Q&A just so that we could start understanding what is it that some of you district leaders, school leaders are looking for or really need support from Project Tomorrow. So we're going to try and make this webinar very smooth, very quick. So once again, we have time for your questions. So a little bit about Project Tomorrow. We are a nonprofit education organization, K-12 education since 1996. We have been doing this annual research project, Speak Up, since 2003. Throughout these entire years, we've collected over 5.7 million real stakeholder feedback surveys. We facilitate 100% through the schools and districts. We design and provide education leaders with a suite of online surveys. So later on, I'll talk a little bit about the upcoming webinars. Jenny Hoster, our operations manager, will also be hosting a webinar where she will be going through the nitty-gritty of the actual survey. How is it that you can manage your account, and how is it that you could select certain surveys that you would want your school or district to participate in. We do all K-12. Every school is eligible, and schools get a summary report with their locally collected data. So they get the school report, they get the district report, and you also get the state and national data to be able to have those comparative marks. Project Tomorrow manages all the data, and we report back to the schools for 100% free service. So when you participate, it's free to participate. It is also free to collect your data, like I said, school, district, and state and national data. So that's a little bit about Project Tomorrow and Speak Up. Here I have a slide for where you get to meet the Speak Up team. I'm pretty sure you've been receiving mass emails from all of us. So we want to make sure that you know who is who, and we have all of this information, our phone numbers, our email addresses, and our job titles, just so that you know who you could go to with certain questions. Of course, if you do have any questions, you could always contact all of us at speakup@tomorrow.org. We will be able to make sure that that message gets to the right person. So like I mentioned, upcoming webinars, we have that webinar that Jenny will be hosting on November 20th. It's called Getting Started with Speak Up. So this is once you have actually registered your school or district. Jenny will do a quick walkthrough of the platform, including how to get your account, how to update your account information, how to manage your surveys. This year, we are very happy to be announcing that it's the first year that we are open throughout the entire academic year. So we will be closing the survey June 30th. But also we have two different kind of formats that you're able to select from. The first one is our traditional multi-thematic survey. We are calling it Speak Up 360. So this survey has the audience of teachers, administrators, parents, students, tech leaders, librarians, etc. They are all asked a wide range of questions. The second option that we have are called snapshots. And snapshots are very theme focused. They have one big theme and they are actually addressed to one audience. So for instance, we have professional development for educators. We have project-based learning for parents. We have mobile learning for students and then mobile learning for parents. So I will definitely share these links with you, like I said in the recap email, but you're going to be able to actually look at what the Speak Up 360 questions have to offer, and then you'll be able to also see what the snapshots are offering when it comes to themes and audiences. On demand, we have a lot of different webinars that we've been hosting throughout the last couple of months, including the congressional briefing. Julie went out to DC on October 23rd to present our national data from last year. We also have a webinar that Julie just did last Friday talking about Speak Up, what it is, and really going into the themes and questions and why is it that is so important for you to share and ask those questions. We also have other Speak Up data webinars and admin profile demos. So once again, I'll share all of these links with you so that you're able to check this out later. Talking about the congressional briefing, just wanted to make sure that you share this with any of your colleagues or anyone that you think might be interested in understanding what is it that Project Tomorrow does with the Speak Up data. The focus this year was on the role of digital content, tools, and resources in student learning. We had a student panel of seniors, eighth graders, and sixth graders, which were amazing. And they were talking about the impact of technology in their lives. So this briefing was once again very firsthand. Julie took a lot of the data that we learned from last year's Speak Up and really got a chance to ask students live what was it that they thought and if they agreed with some of these results. So it was a great briefing. So the goals for this collaborative, like I mentioned, is we want to learn what support you need. What topics are you interested in learning about? We've learned that through some of our district leaders that it is sometimes nice to have some sort of webinar that focuses on hot topics throughout, the education realm. For instance, with the congressional briefing, Julie touched upon a lot of video and YouTube being used as a tool for self-guided learning through students. So we have actually received a lot of feedback from district leaders and school leaders wanting to know more about that. So we really want to know, what is it? What are those topics that interest you? So that when we put future webinars together, if it's kind of a common hot topic for all of you, we could actually focus and really look at that data, at all of that preliminary data that we already have even for the 2019-2020 academic year. So we want to know that from you. We also want to share resources and collaboration with other district leaders. Like I mentioned, the whole point of this is to start kind of creating that network of, hey, I am reaching out to superintendents, I'm reaching out to principals, what kind of collaboration or promotional material would you be willing to share with me? So once again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to add more work to your plate because we understand that you are already busy with the day-to-day. And finally, I'll go over the upcoming open resources and promotional materials page on our website. So that is my part. Hopefully it was very educational and some sort of informative for you. Our next part is we're actually going to be hearing from, like I mentioned, Christina. She is a curriculum specialist technology over at Anaheim Elementary School District through the Digital Education Services. So she has prepared a great slide and great presentation to share with you. And yeah, without further ado, here she is.
Thank you, Pilar. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, there we go. Well, it was working. Let's try it again. Where did my screen go?
We promise we tested this
Yes,
part.
we did.
Hopefully.
I'm going to just share this one and hopefully move it over and then.
There you go. It says you've started. There you go. Perfect.
Do you see the green screen?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. That's not what I was seeing on the show part. Okay. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. My name is Christina Pluhar-Beeson. Just a little bit about my district to see if it's comparable. I work in a TK through 6th grade elementary school district. We have about 17,000 students, and we are currently at every school site dual immersion for Spanish, and we actually are the first district to actually have dual immersion Korean, which we started this year. So just a little bit of background, because I will be talking about that outcome based off of the Speak Up data that we received. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen all the way open. Oh, it's not that. Present. And there's a bit.ly down here for you. So I definitely wanted to give you access to this once that goes down. And this is a favorite quote that I use with my administrators. It says, when you listen, it's amazing what you can learn. When you act on what you've learned, it's amazing what you can change. And that's really my philosophy when it comes to Speak Up, because the data that we're given is so substantial and robust, but it's what we need to do with it in order to make it actionable. That is where the buy-in comes from our stakeholders. So I kind of format everything around the golden circle, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And this is by Simon Sinek. And I always start with the why. I've also included the link in here for you to watch that amazing TED Talk. But I actually go through, and this is how I'm going to present my information to you today as well, why we do it, how and what the results are for our districts specifically. So why we participate. This is directly from Julie and from one of her webinars. And so this really is a succinct reason why we do it, why we participate. But again, I love this quote by Carly Fiorina. The goal is to turn data into information and information into insight. Again, I just can't stress enough that once you do it, you have to act upon it. This is also from Julie, and this is such an impactful slide, and whoever I'm presenting to, they understand why we're doing this, because we're able to, when we have administrators walk into classrooms or parents walk into classrooms, what they see through their lens may be completely different. And Speak Up gives this ability to hear the voices and actually realize what they're seeing in our classrooms, what they're seeing in our communities, and what their wants and needs are for future prospects. So now this is the how. Again, I'm going very, very quickly, but again, you'll have access to this. The very first thing that you want to do is communicate the roles and responsibilities. So in my district, we have buy-in from the administration, all the way from our superintendent and our assistant superintendent.
Hey, Mark, good morning. This is Mo from New Line Interactive. I am the regional sales manager here for the Northeast. We got your message on our website. Just wanted to set up some time to discuss our products. I think
Is that coming through mine? Technical difficulties everywhere. So the very first thing is to, again, figure out what those roles and responsibilities are. So I have the administrative roles, which I want to specifically tell you, the vice principals are the one that really take the lead on this. At some of our school sites, depending on the size, we have 2 vice principals and a leadership assistant as well. So, and then we also have the principal. The principal is the one for the accountability, but the vice principals are really the people who are making sure that this is taking place at all the classrooms, that the teachers are taking the surveys. The faces, this is what we call our community liaisons. They're the ones who are just right in there with the parents, and they are probably one of the most important players in this when it comes to getting those voices heard from our parents and from our community members. And then we have technology assistants at every school. These are the people who kind of oversee all the different technology problems, but they offer any assistance, and that way the teacher can kind of breathe a little bit, because again, our teachers have so much on their plates right now. We want to make this survey as easy as possible for them. And just having someone else in the room when it's being administered really kind of lowers those anxiety levels, especially if it's a first-time teacher doing it. So we communicate roles and responsibilities. We then have to communicate the goals. So these goals never change for us. This has been established from the superintendent and from the assistant superintendent. We need 100% student participation, 100% teacher. And this is what we've come up with for our district. Every year that we participate, and just so you know, we participate not every year, we participate every other year. And our goal is to increase parent participation by 70% each year we take this survey. So again, being very transparent, and there was our goal in 2018. Our goal is 3,216, which is a 70% increase from the from the 2 years before. And that's an average of 140 parents per site. And this actually became the most important number for our faces, because this became almost a competition to reach this number. And I'll go into that in just a few minutes. There it is. So I communicated the progress once a week. I went to the Speak Up website and I pulled the data. And this is what I shared with the vice principals and the faces. And again, very transparent. They were able to see exactly where they were as far as participation goes. And they were striving for that 140, but then it became even more competitive. So I didn't want to make this where it was just one school site seeing what they were doing. I wanted to have that little bit of added pressure on the other school sites so they can continue to make sure that the parents are coming in, that the teachers are taking the surveys. And as far as the teachers go, what we did was we actually would put this on Google Classroom as an assignment for the teachers taking the survey. And so that way, as an assignment, the vice principal knew immediately when that assignment was completed. So they actually had a total, an exact amount of teachers who had completed the survey and who they were still waiting on. And our focus again was K2, 3, 5, and 6th grade for our community. If you'd like to look at the progress, this is also a link for you to go into so you can see how we did it. And then I actually gave them the numbers that they were striving for as far as the amount of children which we got from our ARIES. So then once we actually did the survey, we absolutely wanted to communicate the successes. So we had a big leadership team meeting with all of our vice principals and our principals, and I'm going to show you how we kind of did that data for them, but we made it interactive. But we also congratulated those school sites who had absolute 100% student participation. And then we also recognized those had 95%, but we wanted to make sure we had the shout out to those 100% schools. So this is how we communicated the implementation. This was the example that I did for the leadership team meeting. This is also linked for you to go in and you can kind of see what I've done, but I'll pop in to show you just kind of the idea. I wanted to make this, I keep hitting the wrong thing. I wanted to make this as fun for the administrators as possible. So I made it a game show. And we did the 3 perspectives. We did what are parents concerned about, what are kids, and then what are we going to do about it? Again, actionable. So I called it The Data is Right, and I made it a complete game show. I wanted to pull things that they may not have known, so I called them up as groups, and they actually had little buzzers in front of them, and then I gave them the answer. But then this is how I connected it to Speak Up. So this is actually the Speak Up question. So 48% of our parents are concerned their child is seeing websites with inappropriate content. Okay. And then are the students' responses higher or lower than 48%? So then they had to decide that. And then we actually gave them, and again, as Pilar mentioned before, we were giving the state and national percentages right along with it. And then I would go in and show them exactly what we did with that based off of their responses. We then created, to make sure that parents understood that their children were safe online, we have IBOS filtering system, and then on top of that, we've now added Gaggle. And Gaggle, again, is keeping our kids safe, monitoring their emails and so on, but that's all because of the Speak Up survey. So you kind of get it. We went through, again, you can take a look at this. You may use it however you'd like to, but again, it was very engaging. They absolutely loved it, and it really stuck with them. So going back to this one, I'm not going to lie, this was very time consuming, but it was very, very much appreciated. I took the data that was most, we thought that was going to be the most bang for our buck when it came to our district, and I created these for the teachers, the students, and the parents. And I created one of the, or all three of these for every single school site. And I put it in two different versions, one for their website and one as a flyer that that they can leave in the front office or that they can send home. Again, communicating that we are doing something with the data, and that the Speak Up survey is not just another survey. So this is now like my grand finale. So this is everything that my district has done as a result of the Speak Up survey. And I've led specific questions that kind of geared and pushed this forward, the conversations forward. So we took the digital citizenship question. What do you need to more efficiently and effectively integrate digital content, etc. As of right now, we have common sense education as a mandatory implementation K through 6. And again, we use the common sense education curriculum, but it is now an expectation that every single teacher in our district become recognized and have that digital citizenship content. We are now also a one-to-one district based off of this as well. So because of the instructional technology to student success question, that led our superintendent to go ahead and push for the one-to-one. So every single child in our district has a Chromebook or some type of device. I mentioned before, we are a dual language immersion district. Again, we use this data. We are also a STEAM district, because how interested are you in pursuing a career in STEAM or STEM? 80%. The next one, again, one-to-one. And then we also have, we are, I believe, the only district in California, or possibly the United States, that actually has a coding curriculum for TK. TK through 6th grade, our children are using Code Campus to learn coding. And then the one that just recently happened about 5 months ago, and I have 4,000 hotspots in the back of my office to prove it. We use the data based off of the question about devices at home and how children access internet. And we applied for the T-Mobile grant. And we were awarded the most amount of money ever awarded to a district. It was $2.1 million. And we were given 4,000 hotspots for our families. And again, those are currently going out now. And I'm just finishing up right now a grant that we're doing for Discovery Education, kind of going back to how interested are you in pursuing a career in STEM. We are applying for the grant through Discovery Education for the STEM Connect. And again, fingers crossed where you're going to get this, but it's again driven by the Speak Up data. And again, I told you I was going to go fast, but you have access to this presentation. I promised Pilar I was going to make it 20 minutes. But you can find me. Please follow me. I love growing my professional learning network. Again, I'm a specialist in technology. So if you have questions or anything, you can always reach out to me on Twitter, or you can email me directly. So with that, Pilar, I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to you for questions.
Thank you, Christina.
Yes.
So the most important slide of today's presentation. Do you have any questions? So if you'd like, you're more than welcome to add them either to the chat box, or you could just unmute yourself and let us know if you do have any questions. Once again, we wanted to add a lot of time at the end of this, just so that we could hear what is it that you're doing, what are your concerns when, or even just some hiccups you might be coming across when reaching out to other district leaders or school leaders or your administrators. And we have Christina here, so hopefully it'll be something that she could help you out with. If not, we are more than welcome to kind of put a one-sheeter of all of these different questions and really just reach out to other district leaders. We are assuming that a lot of people are kind of on the same boat when it comes to either getting started or how do we keep it going from year to year. So once again, this collaboration hopefully will help you out. So anyone?
Now I'm going to post the bit.ly for you right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Thank you. I was just going through
it out there. No, no worries. Don't be shy. Anyone have any questions?
But if you don't, that's okay. Again,
yeah, definitely.
Please reach out to me, and I'd love to talk with you again about the Speak Up survey, how we do it in our district, or anything technology related.
Okay, we have a question from Jessica.
Okay. What are some ways to reach out and communicate with parents? Okay, so what we do, again, 23 school sites, kind of like little city states who kind of govern their own. But one of the biggest things that we do, and I know it's actually, our ideas were posted on Speak Up. One, we have kiosks. We put the Chromebooks in kiosk mode. We have plenty of Chromebooks in the front office. So every time a parent walks in, they are to take the survey. We send parent links home with the link so parents can, we don't bombard them with them every week, but we do send out that parent link once a month while we're taking the survey. And many of our school sites have incentives. So some of our school sites did like raffle tickets, where if a parent completed the survey, and again, it was by the honor system saying, hey, we completed the survey because you know what, there's no way to tell. So then they were given a raffle ticket. Or the class that had the most parents participate got to have extended recess with the principal, which they loved. It was really no monetary value. It was just that extra time, or just popsicles brought in. The one thing I do want to tell you with the faces, because again, they were the community liaisons, were the ones that were truly in the trenches. I did award the 2 top school sites with iPads, but they did not know that beforehand. So again, I wanted to thank them, but again, it's really having that conversation with the people who are going to be running your survey, what ideas they have. They came up with also posting on Class Dojo. So if you're doing that, or Remind, sending the links home. But again, the best thing was to have those Chromebooks available. We also have what's called Cafecitos, where it's like the principal talks, where every time that there was some type of parent training, we asked them to take the survey prior to the conference. So we had a captive audience right there. And again, that really boosted up our numbers. I let comment, when the administration cares, the teachers, and that's 100%, it has to come from the top. This will not work unless you have buy-in from the administration. So that's where you have to start. You, again, showing them why, but again, showing them that you're going to make this actionable and it's not just a waste of time. I love that comment. How long of a oh, perfect. How long a participation window do you offer? So we are very careful. We do the same thing every time. We offer our surveys from October to January. We give them a 2-month window, and that's it. It was some issues in the past because we were on a multi-track with 3 different school sites, so we would miss a lot. So we had 3 tracks on, then 1 track off, and then, oh my gosh, we didn't have them survey. We no longer have that issue because all of our schools are now on a single track, thank goodness, for the first time in the history of this district. But again, when we start it, we'll be doing this again in October. We're going to run it from the day that it opens to Christmas break. And that seems to really be enough time to get everyone accounted for. And I do want to point out, you kind of were probably seeing on my data, we only focus on 3 stakeholders, and that is the teachers, the parents, and the students. We were using other surveys in the past, but we weren't doing anything with the information. So we no longer do that. We only focus on the surveys that, again, we're going to use in order to pursue grants and other types of implementations in our district. I hope that answered. Do you have any other questions?
Great. Just I wanted to add, with now the Speak Up survey being open throughout the entire academic year, that really we've seen that a lot of different districts and schools have been able to leverage that, just because for Christina, you know, having that implementation work perfectly, but for other districts, it was just like, it's too much to do before winter break. So now they're pushing it back to spring, before they go on break, before they start testing, etc. So hopefully having it open throughout the entire year kind of helps you create your own timeline, definitely. And just like Christina mentioned already, we are now giving the districts the, let's see, the power, I want to say, the access to really determine what surveys and what audiences you want to survey. So in the webinar that Jenny is going to be putting together on the 20th, she'll go through your platform, and she'll actually be able to show you how is it that you're able to select what audiences see what surveys when they log in. So if they go to your district page, you're going to let them know these are the only questions that are available for our district. So it'll be parents, it'll be teacher snapshots, it'll be students, K6, if you're, you know, just a focus district. So giving you the ability to do this on the back end will definitely help you when you are promoting your own Speak Up surveys. Yes, definitely still important to have a start and stop date. We have seen that it's usually a 3-month run in most districts. Some districts try to do it in a couple of weeks. Other districts do 1 month just parents, a 2nd month just students, a 3rd month just teachers. So yes, definitely different formats.
Again, just remember choice, voice, and access. That's just kind of what you have to live by with the Speak Up. And again, if that's how you run the survey, that's the type of results you're going to get to, because it really does show all 3 of them. It is something I truly believe in, our district believes in, and this Project Tomorrow and Speak Up have just been phenomenal partners to work with. So if this isn't something new for you, please don't hesitate to do the survey, because again, we've evolved over the years. We've been doing this for a while, but it really does take a district leader like yourselves who are here to make this successful. There has to be a point person. So again, reach out to Pilar again, or myself, but you will be so grateful that you did in the long run.
And with that said, we are having a open resource tab on our website being implemented within the next couple of days. So I'll be sharing this information with you, where we are going to have a Dropbox where people such as Christina or yourself could go and drop off either Word documents or PDFs of stuff you've been working on. So like I said, that would be easy, the easiest way for other district leaders to go onto the website, be like, oh, I love this flyer, or I love this newsletter, or email blast draft, so that then you're able to communicate and contact directly with, let's say, Christina, and be like, oh, can I have a little bit more information on how you use this flyer, etc. So once again, the whole point of today's webinar was really to just give you the chance to hear from another district leaders here at Project Tomorrow, the team. We are more than welcome to help you in any way we can. We have some resources that we've created for you, but I think it usually does help a lot more when you're hearing from someone at your same position and or that has similar work similar to yours, so job similar to you, sorry. So hopefully this was useful. We will once again put the recording online. I'll share with all of you through a follow-up email, and I'll share that information and link to the open resource tab that we are going to be hosting on our website. So if you don't have any more questions, I think this is a great time to end. Thank you all so much once again for joining. Thank you, Christina, for doing this for us and taking some time out of your day to do this for our other district leaders. And we will all keep in touch. For those of you who have not registered yet, feel free to go and do that. I'll share the link with you and set up a one-on-one call with Jenny. She is more than welcome to walk you through the registration process and how to set up your account. Thank you
Thank
all,
you.
and yes, have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.